Good morning. I'm glad to be with you today in Japan, though virtually from here in Boston. I hope to see you at some future VBS virtual broadcast session that J-Jent might put on in the future. But in the meantime, I'm Jim Roberts. I work at MIT. MIT is located in Cambridge, Massachusetts, right in Kendall Square, which is on this side of the Longfellow Bridge, which connects Cambridge to Boston, which is over here. I walk across that bridge every day to go to work. And my work consists of transferring technology, particularly technology in the biotech space, from the MIT research labs to industry. And a lot of that involves starting companies. So I do license agreements with companies, and I help them with the initial phases of their company creation as part of my role at MIT. But you're in good hands with Overdue and Errol and Raiko and Joe, who have backgrounds that are either similar or very complementary to mine. I thought I might set the stage a little bit as part of my introduction to you, as what I see to be the background for entrepreneurism and startups in Japan. And it starts with an interesting note that I uncovered, which is that 25% of young people who are starting out in their career paths in Japan don't see entrepreneurship as a viable career path. And Yeah, that's despite the fact that historically Japan is probably in the top five of the countries in the world with regards to startups and the startup environment. In the first half of 2022, there were $3.2 billion that were invested by VCs and others in Japanese startups. And that decreased in the first half of 23 to 2.5 billion. But that is probably a reflection, even though a delayed reflection of the winter freeze that we had last year and are continuing to be exposed to here in the United States, as I think Michael Kouros told you last time. But he did say one thing. He did have a very positive message in that this will end. In the next 12 to 18 months, we hope to see an upturn in terms of investment in startups in not only the United States, but hopefully the rest of the world. Now, there has been a lot of traction with regards to AI and SaaS products in Japan, but Japan has an incredible base to build on for biotechnology, given all of the research and the companies and the Nobel Prize winners and the focus by the government as well in the biotechnology space, as we saw from the broadcast by Prime Minister Kishida at the Bio23 convention here in Boston this summer. And some evidence of that is the incubator that's been started in Kawasaki in the biotechnology space, and of course the historical center of focus in Osaka. Going forward with regards to activities and actions that at least we see here from our side, and I'm sure have been or will be discussed at your workshop, is the 5-year plan that the Japanese government has put into effect, whereby they hope to achieve a total of 100 unicorn startups by 2027, using an investment which I think they hope will rise to 10 trillion yen, as opposed to 2.8 billion yen when they started this. And the result hopefully will be 10,000 new startups. And this J-Jent program is part of that, is just one small part in trying to make that happen, to bring that about. There are 3 pillars to the Japanese government's programs, as I'm sure you know very well. The first pillar being the people, the human resources, and providing them with the resources that they need to develop those. funding, different types of funding, as well as exit strategies for companies that have perhaps not been implemented widely in Japan previously, and also an attention to open innovation, that is the collaboration between Japanese industry and Japanese startups. And I think that's what's really unique about the Japanese approach to developing the startup environment and the startup culture in Japan, is trying to bring around those synergies between Japanese industry and Japanese startups so that they are well aligned, and the success of each of them being dependent on the other. I think, excuse me, I think as far as evidence of these pillars that I'm aware of, I'm sure there's a lot, but immediately, of course, with regards to the first pillar, which has to do with development of people and talents and knowledge, that's what this J-Jent program is doing. And even though I am a technology transfer specialist, I'm happy to be, to the extent I can be, a contributor to the transfer of knowledge in this space from our ecosystem, our entrepreneurial ecosystem here in the United States to Japan. And hopefully I'll learn something from you as well. This is a bi-directional bridge after all. With regards to the funding pillar, one important development in January of this year was the Angel Zeisei program, I guess it's pronounced, which has to do with promoting angel investment and providing a two-part tax plan that will really encourage that. From what I've seen, it's extremely well thought out, very attractive, and something that I would love to see here in the United States, and hopefully that will bring about at least an increase in angel funding. And then with regards to the third pillar, the open innovation pillar, we are recipients of outreach from the J-Bridge program, as I'm sure other countries in the world are, which seeks to tie Japanese industry with startups in other parts of the world, including the United States. And I'm sure that's what's being done in Japan to tie Japanese startups with Japanese industry as well. So the focus to bring about the startup culture and the development of the startup kernel in Japan seems to be the broader Japanese industry. They're working hand in hand together with regards to these programs that Japanese government has initiated. MIT itself has a presence in Japan. We did a full 1 day of sessions in Japan via our MIT Industrial Liaison program. And we had a startup showcase there that would fit right into this J-Bridge model. So I'm here to help in any way I can. If you have any questions about early stage startups and how we do those at MIT, I'm happy to speak with you. And I wish you a really great session and hope to see more of you in the future. Best wishes.